Story 2 turns 25 years old in 2024. What the heck is going on? Like, I have vivid memories. When I was a little boy, I was too young to go to the movie theaters at the time. So I would literally binge watch Toy Story 2 on repeat in those little clamshell VHS tapes. And I would just be absolutely mesmerized by this movie. It would never get old. And despite the fact that I was watching this movie on repeat, I never got annoyed with it either. I honestly really credit the 2 Toy Story movies as well as the first 2 Shrek movies for really strengthening my love of film at such a young age. And I know what I said about the original Toy Story movie in my review of it yesterday. I know what I said about it being a pure game changer for animation. I know what I said about it putting Pixar on the map. But in my humble opinion, Toy Story 2 is the best one of the trilogy. We're not going to get to Toy Story 4 yet. It's a trilogy. Okay, so this one is kind of picking up where the first one left off. Woody and Buzz are still the favorite toys of our favorite kid, Andy. Woody, once again voiced masterfully by Tom Hanks, is stolen from his home during a yard sale, and he's stolen by a toy dealer named Al, voiced by Wayne Knight. You might remember Wayne as Dennis from Jurassic Park, or Stan from Space Jam. So wouldn't you know it, it's an adventure Pixar movie. Buzz Lightyear, voiced by Tim Allen, and the rest of the gang try to rescue him. Buzz is returning the favor for what Woody did for him in the initial movie, which is brilliant. Meanwhile, Woody actually discovers that he's a very rare collectible from a once popular television show called Woody's Roundup. And he's reunited with the rest of his cast in toy form. Bullseye, his trusted horse, who I'll talk about him maybe in a little bit, but he's one of the most adorable Pixar characters ever. You also have Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl, voiced by Joan Cusack, as well as Woody's faithful sidekick, Stinky Pete the Prospector, voiced by Kelsey Grammer, who I actually didn't remember voiced him. And when he realizes that the toys are being taken to Japan and they're going to be enjoyed by children for all eternity, he ends up not wanting to leave. And that brings me to the reason why I think Toy Story 2 is so much better than the original. Even though that first Toy Story movie, like I said, not denying that it's a game changer, and not denying how innovative this idea actually was for 1995. But 4 years later, we already love these characters. We've already spent so much time with Woody, Buzz, Slink, Rex, and everybody. But Toy Story 2 asks those hard questions. So Woody, what happens when Andy does grow up? How much value do you actually have? And these themes of existentialism and worth still ring so true 25 years later. And that brings me to another big reason why Toy Story 2 is my favorite. The emotional gut punch that this movie gives you. Like, this movie tears at your heartstrings, guys. Nowhere is that more apparent than in Jessie. Now, as a whole, Joan Cusack is such a fun selection to voice Jessie. Nobody else could have gotten this energy of Jessie absolutely spot on other than her. And when you first meet her, she's such a likable and enthusiastic, effervescent presence. Like, you just can't help but want to go to a party with her or something. Like, it's weird. It's weird me saying that. But, like, Jessie is such a likable character. But then when you realize that she's dealing with her own anxieties about why she exists. She had a kid, and Emily left her behind. Emily completely forgot about her after growing up, and she was left in storage for years on end. And that leads to an amazing and heartbreaking montage. When She Loved Me? God, what a song! And I didn't even mention him in my last review for Toy Story, but nobody else could have done these songs other than Randy Newman. Randy Newman just gets the sentimentality of this material to a T. And every time I hear these tunes, You've Got a Friend in Me, When She Loved Me, the Woody's Roundup theme song, which is actually super fun. Like, I just hear these songs and I can't help but feel like a little boy watching this again. There's just so many amazing things about Toy Story 2 that make it stand out as the best. The animation is a clear step up from its predecessor. The human characters absolutely look a lot better when you look at them. And you're introduced to a cute puppy dog in this one, Andy's house dog Buster. And Buster has a lot of great comedic moments that are often overlooked. Okay, you found me, Buster, all right. Yeah, as a dog person, you gotta love Buster. But you also notice how his eyes make him look like a real dog as opposed to whatever Sid's dog was. Yeah, that's the biggest indicator that Pixar was on another level in 1999. But every single toy that you come across here, every single one has their distinct designs. They're all nice and colorful. They're vibrant characters, super energetic. And it just really feels like every single character has their moments to shine. Another thing that I love about Toy Story 2 is that more toys get to go on the adventure as opposed to Woody and Buzz. This one, Buzz is leading a gigantic posse to go and rescue their sheriff. And it's just so fun watching these characters play off of one another. Rex, especially in this movie, voiced by the inconceivable Wallace Shawn. Like, I get him. I get his anxieties. I finally defeated Zurg! And who could ever forget just a simple scene of these toys crossing the street? The music underscoring this just makes it feel like it's the Jurassic Park T-Rex scene. It's so freaking intense.
Drop! I said drop! Go!
God, Tim Allen is so great as Buzz Lightyear, isn't he? Again, say what you want about the man now. Perfect casting. And even though Buzz's arc definitely feels like it was completed in the original movie, his presence is still very much needed. Because this movie and the adventure aspects does not work if you don't have Buzz leading the charge, because he's returning the favor of Woody from the last movie. Again, just brilliant writing. Want to talk about brilliant writing? You actually come across another Buzz Lightyear who is just as delusional as Buzz in the first one. He's got all of his factory settings still intact, and he has a nice nifty blue belt with him. Which makes me wonder, I'm no fan of karate, but if Buzz Lightyear is a blue belt, that would make this version of Buzz Lightyear super valuable in these action scenes. Unless a blue belt is super low in the totem pole, I could be getting that completely wrong. But even when you're not on the adventure with Buzz and everybody else, the destination aspect is so fascinating. It's similar to what I think about Finding Nemo. Similarly here, when the movie actually cuts to the destination, you don't groan to yourself and you're like, oh, we gotta check this out again? It's gonna be so boring. No, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the tension between the Roundup gang. I'm looking forward to hearing the discussions between Woody and Jesse about existentialism and what have you. And I'm looking forward to seeing so many more creative sequences out of Pixar, like the minefield of Cheetos. And especially during that sequence, freaking Bullseye is so adorable. But let's talk about Stinky Pete the Prospector. First off, Kelsey Grammer, again, great selection to voice this guy. And he has a super fun gimmick of actually being mint in the box. Never been opened! And this is the first time in a long line of projects, and you've heard me talk about this a lot on some of my past Disney reviews if you've been with me for a while. But this is the first real instance I noticed of a villain reveal trope. Of course, Stinky Pete is revealed to be the bad guy. He realizes that he can last forever, which is easy for him to say because he's never been opened out of the box and doesn't know what it feels like to be played with by a kid. But in this case, I actually think the reveal works. Even in hindsight now, even though I've seen a million of these done in other Disney projects. Because when I was younger, I felt so freaking betrayed by Stinky Pete. And that's how you know that twist reveal is as effective as it can be. Honestly, guys, what more can I say about Toy Story 2 that hasn't already been said? The emotional resonance still sticks with me to this very day. The movie still makes me feel like I'm a young boy discovering the art of film all over again. And especially how much they can stick with you emotionally. But it also never loses sight of what made that first Toy Story movie so endearing and beloved. The idea is still so revolutionary. The idea is still so fresh in everybody's minds. The characters are still so beloved, and there is enough comedy mixed in there with the emotion. I mentioned the crossing the street sequence. How about when they're actually shopping in Al's Toy Barn? They come across a Barbie doll who is voiced by the voice of Ariel from The Little Mermaid. That's a fun fact of trivia for you. And I also love how our big villain, Al, who's voiced by Wayne Knight, dresses up like a chicken man. Like, that's hilarious. Also, who can forget the sequence in the elevator shaft where Buzz Lightyear is going up against the evil Emperor Zurg? The Empire Strikes Back references are way too hard to ignore, and Pixar absolutely capitalized on it. And as a 27-year-old man, I still laugh my ass off. Well, you're gonna see, especially in the last review of this trilogy, it's our destiny to discover that the Toy Story trilogy just might be one of the greatest trilogies in film history. One of the greatest trilogies not named the Dark Knight trilogy, one of the greatest trilogies not named Lord of the Rings. I think Toy Story deserves to be discussed in that category. And Toy Story 2 just might be the biggest reason why. I'm gonna give Toy Story 2 an A+. I must reiterate, You have no idea how much it excites me that I'm finally talking about Toy Story with you guys, because these movies meant so much to me growing up. Did this trilogy mean a lot to you guys as well? Let me know down in the comments. And stay tuned for my next review, the final one of the trilogy, Toy Story 3, which came out in 2010. I remember being so excited to watch that movie in the theater for the first time. A Toy Story movie in theaters for me, that was unheard of. But we'll dig into that in the next video tomorrow. So stay tuned for that and much, much more, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up as well. You've got a friend in me over here on this channel. If you want to talk about all great things in the cinematic world, this is the right place to be. Y'all are the best, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in. With all that being said, commence that back talk.